When it's late like that in the evening, the light turns a little bit yellowish. I hope that you don't mind, because I have important things to say to you. This is Rainer from Rainierbooks, and this is my BookTube channel. You are on BookTube, where we deal with books. And this is my video with the books that I think are important and interesting from the month of September of 2021. Books that I am really looking forward to get my hands on, to get my eyes on. Let's get started. Sally Rooney has become one of the superstars of English-speaking literature. She came out with a new book this month, her third novel actually, Beautiful World, Where Are You? And some people already have read it, and some people have really had very positive opinions about it. I wasn't so lucky. I'm just a little booktuber, and I just can tell you that the book has been published this month. This is about Alice, a novelist who meets Felix, who works in a warehouse, and asks him if he'd like to travel to Rome with her. In Dublin, her best friend Eileen is getting over a breakup and slips back into flirting with Simon, a man she has known since childhood. We have four people here: Alice, Felix, Eileen, and Simon. They're still young, but life is catching up with them. They desire each other, they delude each other, they get together, they break apart. That's life, right? They worry about sex and friendship and the world they live in. Are they standing in the last lighted room before the darkness, bearing witness to something? Will they find a way to believe in a beautiful world? The answers has Sally Rooney, and I'm sure this is another best-selling, it's already another best-selling novel of one of the most successful authors of our time. And this is the first book that I suggest for September of 2021, the month that lies behind us. But all the books that I talk about are available at your favorite indie bookshop, or hopefully also soon in your library. Number two is a gangster novel. Some people have already marked it as a thriller, as a crime novel. This is Harlem Shuffle by Colson Whitehead, the double Pulitzer Prize winner. Colson Whitehead, another best-selling author, and even the third book that I am sort of enthusiastic about, having been published in September, just shortlisted for the National Book Award today. But actually the National Book Award doesn't have a shortlist, they call it finalist. Lauren Groff has become a finalist for the National Book Award of 2021 with her novel Matrix. This is about Mary, or Marie de France. She's sent to England to be the new prioress of an impoverished abbey, its nuns on the brink of starvation and beset by disease. And this is certainly a very interesting book, because everything that Lauren Groff writes is basically very interesting. And I will take a look at the book. It's already ordered by the library here in Stockholm, but it will take a couple of months, I guess, until I will lay my eyes on it. Number four is, and now we come to a couple of books, to five books actually, that you might have not heard about. So if you heard about the first three books here on other channels, the last five may be a little bit more unique for this video. The first one is from London, England. You know that I love London, England. It's a multicultural city, one of the greatest hubs in the world. It is one of the hottest cities in Europe. Yeah, I love London, and this is a Turkish book from London, dealing much with the Turkish community. This is called Keeping the House by Tice Chin. I hope that I pronounced the name somehow right. Offering a fresh and funny take on the machinery of the North London heroin trade, Keeping the House lifts the lid on a covert world thriving just beneath notice, not only in McDonald's queues and men's clubs, but in spotless living rooms and whispering kitchens. Spanning 3 generations, this is the story of the women who keep their family and their family business afloat, juggling everything from police surveillance to trickier questions of community, belonging, and love. Always interesting. And this is Keeping the House by Tice Chin. The fifth book comes from Africa, and I think you might know the author, or if you don't know the author, then you know a film that has become a movie out of the book of this author. If you have seen the movie The Last King of Scotland a couple of years ago, you might be very much interested in this book. It's called Freight Dogs by Giles Foden. This is 1996. In a Ugandan dive bar, the Freight Dogs gather, an anarchic group of mercenary pilots from Texas, Russia, Kenya and Belgium who transport weapons between warring African nations without allegiance. And tonight they have a new recruit, Manu, a 19-year-old cowherd fleeing Congo's bloody war. Taken in by this band of unlikely brothers, he's soon seeing his vast country from above and falling in love with flying. But no matter how fast he flies, trouble follows closely behind. And when the past erupts back into this new life, Manu is forced to leave behind African skies for the chilly embrace of Northern Europe. Will Manu be able to reinvent himself yet again? And is Belgian volcanologist Anke Dessau the answer to his problems, or simply another one of them? From the writer of The Last King of Scotland comes an unforgettable story of survival about how to live and love after trauma set against the backdrop of a world-shaking conflict. That sounds amazing. That sounds Le Carré-ish, right? Number 6 is a crime novel by one of the greatest living Scottish crime writers in cooperation with a Scottish crime writer who died, unfortunately, some years ago. This is The Dark Remains by William McIlvanney and Ian Rankin. Lawyer Bobby Carter did a lot of work for the wrong type of people. Now he's dead, and it was no accident. Besides a distraught family and a heap of powerful friends, Carter's left behind his share of enemies. So who dealt the fatal blow? DC Jack Laidlaw's reputation precedes him. He's not a team player, but he's got a sixth sense for what's happening on the streets. His boss chalks the violence up to the usual rivalries, but is it that simple? As two Glasgow gangs go to war, Laidlaw needs to find out who got Carter before the whole city explodes. William McIlvanney's Laidlaw books changed the face of crime fiction. When he died in 2015, he left half a handwritten manuscript of Laidlaw's first case. Now, Ian Rankin is back to finish what McIlvanney started. In The Dark Remains, these two iconic authors bring to life the criminal world of the 1970s Glasgow and Laidlaw's relentless quest for truth. Wow, this is going to be another bestseller. It's probably the fourth best-selling book of these that I mentioned until now. Number 7, and we go crime all over. And with this one, it's a Chandlerish. It's a homage to Raymond Chandler's Philip Marlowe, and it comes from Japan. This is The Wrong Goodbye by Toshihiko Yahagi. Yes. A classic slice of Japanese hard-boiled noir paying homage to the master of the genre, Raymond Chandler, or Raymond Chandler as Eric Umbler called him. The Wrong Goodbye pits homicide detective Eiji Futamura against the shady Chinese business empire and US military intelligence in the docklands of recession Japan. After the frozen corpse of immigrant barman Tran Bin Long washes up in midsummer near Yokosuka US Navy base, Futamura meets a strange customer from Tran's bar. Vietnam vet pilot Billy Lubani talks Futamura into hauling 3 suitcases of goods to Yokota US Air Base late at night and flies off, leaving a dead woman behind. Thereby implicated in a murder suspect's escape and relief from active duty, Futamura takes on hack work for the beautiful concert violinist Eileen Hisu, a boat people orphan whose Japanese adoption mother has mysteriously gone missing. And now a phone call from a best-selling Yakuza author. A one-time black marketeer in Saigon hints at inside information on former Viet Cong mole Tran and his old sidekick Billy Lu, both of whom crossed a triad tycoon who's buying up huge tracts of Mekong Delta marshland for a massive development scheme. As the loose strands flash back to Vietnam, the string of official lies and mysterious allegiances built into a dark picture of the US-Japan post-war alliance. I'm totally into this. I want to read The Wrong Goodbye, which reminds us of course, The Long Goodbye by Raymond Chandler. And number 8, which is the last but not the least book. You know, I'm always interested in American politics and what has happened to the United States in the past couple of years, in the last 4, 8, 12, 16 years, when this country got so divided, and when there's so much hate, so much rage, and so much fury in the country that sort of seems the people has torn apart the people into at least 2 different nations. A red one and a blue one, at least. This is by a beautiful writer from The New Yorker, who is a great journalist who has written an amazing book about China, from his time in China. He lived there for 10 years. He speaks the language. He knows everything about it. Now he is back in the US, has lived there for a couple of years, and he has come up with a book called Wildland, The Making of America's Fury. And the author is, of course, Evan Osnos. Evan Osnos moved to Washington, D.C. in 2013 after a decade away from the United States. While abroad, he often found himself making a case for America, urging the citizens of Egypt, Iraq, or China to trust that even though America had made grave mistakes throughout its history, it's aspired to some foundational moral commitments: the rule of law, the power of truth, the right of equal opportunity for all. But when he returned to the United States, he found each of these principles under assault. In search of an explanation for the crisis, he focused on 3 places he knew firsthand: Greenwich, Connecticut; Clarksburg, West Virginia; and Chicago, Illinois. Reported over the course of 6 years, Wildland follows ordinary individuals as they navigate the varied landscapes of 21st century America. Through their powerful, often poignant stories, Osnos traces the sources of America's political dissolution. He finds answers in the rightward shift of the financial elite in Greenwich, in the collapse of social infrastructure and possibility in Clarksburg, and in the compounded effects of segregation and violence in Chicago. The truth about the state of the nation may be found not in the slogans of political leaders, but in the intricate details of individual lives and in the hidden connections between them. A dramatic, prescient examination of seismic changes in American politics and culture, Wildland is the story of a crucible, a period bounded by 2 shocks to America's psyche, 2 assaults on the country's sense of itself: the attacks of September 11 in 2001 and the storming of the US Capitol on January 6, 2021. Following the lives of everyday Americans in 3 cities across 2 decades, Osnos illuminates the country in a startling light, revealing how it lost the moral confidence to see itself as larger than the sum of its parts. That is truly very much interesting. I have seen that the Stockholm Library already has ordered this book. I went in, I checked it, and I reserved it, and I hope to get it very, very soon. These were 8 books of September, already published, already out there, already buyable, already borrowable from the library. So get them, and please tell me what I have missed. Is there anything else that is so important, that is so close to your heart, to your passion, that you want to read it? Please leave a comment down below in the section down below. And thank you very much for watching this video. I will be back, and I love you for staying tuned to this channel, and most of all, I hope that you stay safe. Bye-bye.